friends, thanks for joining me. It's Morag here, and today I am using the beautiful June hip kits to create a layout for you, and I'm going to focus on those beautiful acetates from the embellishment kit, and I've also used one of the steel dies that are in the shop this month. And I love this steel die. It is a kind of a scallop border with kind of more score line detailing as well. In fact, if you could turn it the other way around, it might be little mini rainbows. But it's fantastic to add a nice little detail to your page. And just so I could use the borders for something a little bit different for me, I'm going to make 3 kind of horizontal ledges, as it were. And I'm going to back those with some torn papers from the main kit. I do like to distress the edges of my elements just to add a little bit more texture without any more bulk. So I tend to curl the edges and use my distressing tool just to ruffle up the straight edges a bit. And I've got it in my mind to create 3 clusters for each of a cluster around each of my photos. So I want to add a little bit of mixed media to the background, of course, just to zhuzh things up a little bit. And I'm going to use a shimmers from a recent colour kit called Beats Me. I love their names. I think they're so funny how they come up with these names, because it's spelled beet as in beetroot. So I've diluted that with some water, as you can see. And I'm just using a little mini brayer to lay down some colour on the background. I'm favouring a little brayer at the moment because I like the effect I can get with it. But if you don't have one, you can use the packaging technique to do exactly the same thing, or a paintbrush. I just like the control I get with this, that you can get kind of more stripes or kind of a little bit more geometric, I guess. So I'm just going to add a little kind of an orangey colour in, and again I'm going to some past colour kits for more shimmers, and I've pulled out a colour called Cantaloupe. Oh, as I say, I love their colours, which is kind of a warm yellow colour, and of course they have that lovely shimmer to them. And again I'm just mixing those in with my first colour, and hopefully this ties all the papers and embellishments together. So unfortunately, because it's quite light, maybe you can't see that so well on the finished layouts. But in real life, they're lovely and shimmery, and has a really pretty kind of subtle background for my photos. So I am going to use some items from the embellishment kit. And one of the things that were new this month were rub-ons. Whoa, we love rub-ons. So I'm just placing my borders in place, and I'm going to use this beautiful gold rub-on before placing my photo. Now, these are unusual for me because I've not seen a rub-on like these before. Normally when you use rub-ons, they're translucent, whereas this one's a lovely gold foil and opaque around the edges. So when I rubbed it off, which came off really easily, I don't know what to expect really, but they've applied beautifully. So I'm just looking through the die cuts from the main kit. And of course, as always, there's loads to choose from. I firstly cut some of the flowers from the one of the papers this month, and I stored that with my die cuts too. I like an evening of fussy cutting if I can. Now I am absolutely in love with those acetate leaves in the embellishment kit this month. They're just beautiful, the colours, the shapes, and there's loads of them, so you can be quite generous when you're using them because there are so many to choose from. So I'm just going through the chipboard from the embellishment kit too. There is a title in there called Happy, and I actually struggled to find the P, and now I'm looking at it, it was just there all the time. I went looking for it for ages. So I'm going to have Happy as my title, and then I'm just going to cluster and arrange the die cuts and chipboard around those photos. And my photos actually are from a llama walk I did in spring this year, and we'd got quite my friend had got quite a bright red coat on, so I've turned my photos black and white just so it didn't clash with the products. And it was really good doing a llama walk. It was a really good experience actually. I'm helping my friend do her 50 things for her 50th birthday. So we've been getting up to all sorts of things, all in the name of making her dream come true. So I'm just going to position my title there, and I'm just using normal glue to stick those letters into place. I did think whether about overlapping them or having them a little bit higgledy-piggledy, but chose to go with the dead straight effect instead. And I do like a little journal word under my title, Happy Living Life. I just love how that turns out. So off camera, I've decided to put some stitching behind the chipboard piece I'll use there. So all I've done is poked a hole, well, a couple of holes in the centre, and then kind of intervals around the outside, and then just stitch through with some floss. And I really like how, you know, there's that subtle detail behind the chipboard. So I used a die cut ticket. So one of the pattern papers this month matches the ticket dies. So that would be a really useful thing to keep in your stash. So the ticket dies are new this month. And if you have that in your stash, you'll be able to make tickets galore out of that paper. So it would be a nice afternoon of die cutting, and then you can have umpteen numbers of tickets which you can save for future layouts. And because they're quite soft, they'll coordinate with so many things and you'll get a lot of use out of them. And of course you could stamp on them to make them match your theme. So it's a really good investment, I think. So I'm just sticking down the acetate pieces. Do you know, I've completely lost the plot today. So the acetate pieces. The glue I use is Nuvo Deluxe glue, which dries clear. Now I'm sticking the pieces down where they'll be covered up. But I'm pretty sure that if you were to see the glue, it would be clear anyway. So another reason for liking acetate pieces, very easy to work with. So off camera, I did a little cross stitching to the Y of my title. And then I'm just placing now some little bits and pieces from the kit. Always love a little bit of twine or string. I just like the way that feels on a page. So if I've got an opportunity to add a little tag, then I'm always going to take it if I can. So I'm just sticking that little tag, poke it out the side, and then I'll just glue those twine pieces in place. But the twine is very slim, so it doesn't really add any weight, but it does have that nice bit of float to the page, I think. So I'm more or less done, and one thing I like to do at the end is to add a little bit more colour. I tend to cover up most of the colour I've added, And by using a medium paintbrush, I can add more colour to the areas where I need them. And I tend to do it around the edges as if it were a shadow. So that's the final layout now, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. And do check out the June kits, including the colour kits and dies, because I think they're really good value for money. And of course, all the main kits, the Pocket Life, the embellishment kits, are all exclusive to Hip Kit Club. So thanks again for joining me, and I hope to see you soon on my next video. I would love to hear from you with the comments, so give me a thumbs up and I'll see you next time. Thank you.